Hi, welcome to Life of Gaz, and in this project we're going to look at how to start training birds of prey. This is just the initial step, and for this bird of prey I've chosen a barn owl. They're great little birds to work with, massively underrated. I think they're absolutely fantastic. But to start with, we're going to make sure this bird's comfortable in his aviary and comfortable to feed off of me first, as well as being able to fly comfortably from one perch to the next and the floor back up to his perch before we even take him out of the aviary and try and put any work into him. Once the bird's comfortably feeding every time I go in the aviary, then I start to attach the anklets and jesses, which get removed after each session.
When I start young birds off, I start the way I mean to go on. I don't like my birds when they're in the aviary to have anything on them. So he's only got a ring on him. He's only about 8 weeks old. This is Ghost, and he's going to get used to having this equipment put on him. So what I've got are removable anklets. I've got button jesses, a swivel, a tether and a glove. Now I'm going to put these on the bird and we'll see how that goes.
As you often find when birds are getting new equipment on them for the first time, they can jump around a little bit, but after a few attempts, and with me it took about 3 or 4 days, Ghost really started to settle down and not move around quite so much when the equipment was put on him. Once he calmed down, it then became much easier to put the actual gear which we're going to be using on him. Now we started off with the anklets. These anklets have got a T-shaped cut in them and they've got an eyelet at each end. All you do is spread one eyelet through that T-shaped cut, give it a twist and that'll lock in place. Now once that anklet has gone on, we repeat the process with the second anklet and then attach the jesses. I'm using button jesses here because again they're easy to take on and off. And then this meant that the bird was ready to go out and fly. The best practice whilst doing this is to also ensure that when you put the anklets on, that the ring remains above the anklet and not below them. Finally, the last thing I do in terms of training within the aviary is station training. So basically the bird flies to the same place before I put the anklets and the jesses on, before taking out of the aviary to go and fly free. Now let's talk about a bit of a simple way to be flight training. Now this all starts off with the bird being basically placed forward onto a post. So the bird gets the idea of stepping forward off of the glove onto the post before turning around and flying back. Now this attempt was probably attempt number 10 or 11 before Ghost actually stepped up onto the post in one fluid movement, just like you've seen there. Once we had done this for a few days and he'd started to get his head around the fact that I wanted him to step up onto that post, I started to increase the distance, and then as I increased the distance I'd lower him so he had to jump up to the post and wiggle my finger in the glove. Now this resulted in him eventually jumping up onto the post from that short distance, but again this did take multiple tries to actually get this one jump. After the initial jumps from the glove to that post, every successive time I asked him to do it, I then increased the distance, so until we got to the point that Ghost would fly to the post from almost any distance in any direction within my garden. For each flight out to the post there was a flight back, so recalls were being worked on right from the word go. But before I decided to take the crayons off, I would start doing recalls from random places, so if he flew and missed the post, I knew that he'd be able to come back from, say, my neighbour's fence or off the top of my outbuilding. So after about 9 or 10 days of training in this way, I decided to take the crayons off. Now why I done that was because he was strong in what he was doing. He was flying to the post and back to the glove. He was focusing on me almost the entire time, and I was confident that I could get him back from anywhere that he'd gone to land on. Now he's free flying and looking great. He's not a problem. I'm taking him out to new areas and letting him have a fly around, and he's doing fantastic with this. Now I've been flying him at 310 grams. Now I've not focused on weight management because I'm going to go into this in a later video. But if you've liked this video and you'd like to see more like it, please like and subscribe, and leave any comments, feel free to as well. Thanks for watching Life of Gaz.